Hello and welcome to the Libri Labra book club discussion. Tonight we're going to be talking about Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. And this was actually a book that was picked by our book club VIP, Kelly, who unfortunately can't join us tonight. So hopefully, Kelly, we can make this discussion interesting for you and you can comment later on, feel better. Let me make sure I don't have the YouTube window open. All right, so I think we can just go ahead and start with like our initial thoughts on the book. And Tom, you want to go first?
By the way, there will be spoilers in this. So
yes, spoilers. I mean, it wasn't so much of a story, but yeah, there's definitely spoilers. We are going to be talking about it in depth. So if you haven't read it yet and you don't want to know anything about it, then maybe come back some other time to watch this video.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, it's the kind of thing where if somebody tells you all the jokes in a film, then you go to see the film. And it's like
that's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's a different
sense.
experience. One of the things I appreciated about the book was that just to see how I think of her as like a Robin Williams sort of mind, where her mind is just constantly going and constantly making connections that nobody else needs. Although I thought it was cool because as I was reading it, if you remember the part where her husband Victor asked her, "What would you need the skins of 2 cats for?" And I immediately thought of it just before it's like, so they can become different cats. It's like, oh my God, I'm thinking like her now.
Oh my God.
Oh. So I think you were like us. I think you may have also listened to the audiobook.
Yes.
And we have a tendency of listening to audiobooks a little bit faster than normal. So maybe at like 1.25, or I think 1.5 was just like way too fast for us because she was already a fast talker.
Yes, she is.
So I found it, I think I got about like 3/4 of the way through the book. I was laughing. It was funny. We kept looking at each other and being like, oh my God, what is this woman thinking? Like, did she just say that? But about 3/4 of the way through, I was like, I can't listen to this in big chunks. I had to like break it up. And so I'd listen to 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, because it started to give me anxiety.
So much to take in all at once, all the time, especially at super speeds.
Talking about you guys right just so you know.
Yes, I know. So I was like, man, like I have my own racing thoughts, and to hear her racing thoughts like constantly, it was just a bit much for me.
Anxiety. I don't do anxiety very much. Normally I'm the one like siphoning energy off of her, but I was like, oh, please just stop this for a second. Just let me catch up to her.
Let me just hear what's in my own head for a little bit.
There you go.
We're like furiously like anxiety ridden. Happy is.
Well, it is too. Yes, that's the point. Wow. Because she is furiously anxiety ridden. That she wants to be furiously happy.
So, what are your thoughts, John?
Whoa. I don't know how to say more
pressure.
than that. It's just, it's just whoa. Just taking that book in is just like whoa, and it's crazy. I actually enjoyed it because it gave me a little more insight on basically what
I go through.
This like.
Now it all makes sense.
I know.
Sometimes I'm like, where did you get that from? I don't understand. What are you talking about right now? But it's. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I am. At one point we were in the car and I was like, oh, I understand what she's saying. Because he was just, I think it was during the part where she was talking about dead people in the bathroom. And he was like, do you actually think that? And I was like, no, but I can understand how she would think that.
Totally. Now I will.
Like,
yeah.
Just everything she was saying during that chapter kind of just made a lot of sense to me. And he was like, is that the way your mind works? Do you think like that? And I was like, well, kind of, just not that far, like not to that degree. So.
Oh no,
But you're on the same road, maybe just not far down.
Right.
There's like an nth power going on here with this one. Like she might be a low variable, but the freaking Jenny Lawson's just like exponentially, like her mind just takes everything. Like you ever see that gif of the girl running away from something like this, holding something.
Mm-hmm.
Like her mind takes that idea and runs away with it. Like it's just it's just one thing right after another. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to even tell. I couldn't even remember like much of anything about the story or about her. Everything that she went through to be able to like even explain something to you. It's just it went by that fast for me that I couldn't absorb the material.
Now I know that we had a couple of people that were talking about it on Goodreads. Our Goodreads member Ashley was one of them, and she was saying that there were a few parts in the book where she felt like Jenny might have been trying a little bit too hard to be funny. And I think I didn't feel that way until I started getting about 3/4 of the way into the book. It started, like, there were some parts that felt a little bit forced. And
she sounds like somebody who actually done a lot of stuff for shock value in the past. Like, because that's what kind of like a reaction that people got out of her. That's what she ran with. So that's kind of like built into her personality now. So it's shock value. It's like, did you seriously just say that? Which
is funny because I've always hated those people growing up.
Yeah,
like those
absolutely.
People, I would like pretend like I had no reaction to the things that they would say because I just hated that they did that.
It's like an exaggerated form of lying.
Well, yes, but never let the truth get in the way of a good story. And the reason I say that is because if you remember Frank McCourt's Angela's Ashes that we read,
yeah,
I sincerely doubt that happened the way he told it in the book.
Right.
But for the story, yeah, we're good. Now granted, with Jenny Lawson, it was kind of thing where it was a bit, the dynamics were a bit samey. Her husband would say something, she would say something, her husband would say something, and then she would act like, now is she really believing this, or is she just saying this so that, she could look dumb, or not dumb, but not catching what her husband's saying. You know what I mean?
Right. I thought the dynamic between them was pretty interesting. I mean, I kind of felt bad for him because she seems like she would be a difficult person to live with. And to kind of...
The same. Sorry, I had to sally that for you. Go ahead, carry on.
Well, I mean, at least we're not dealing with that extra exponent.
That extreme.
Yeah.
That extreme, yeah.
But I mean, like, some of the arguments they would have, it would just be like, how does he even talk to her? Because I would just be like...
But they have some kind of a dynamic where they understand each other for some reason, and that's, her crazy fits his crazy, and that's the beautiful part of it.
I mean, he didn't seem crazy at all. I feel like, she probably just makes his life interesting.
Well, he's probably very thick-skinned, so he lets a lot of the crazy bounce off at him. Like, he doesn't take it all completely seriously. That's kind of obvious. Like, he's
like the perfect straight man for her. That's the thing. It's like Abbott and Costello. It's like, oh my God, you guys are perfect for each other. At least the way she tells it in the blogs. So.
And that's another thing. Just the fact that this book kind of is like a cavalcade of blog posts. Like, it kind of seems like they're different. They're not all different stories, but they're different stories. But it's all kind of like smushed together into this book.
Right.
I like that it was like chunks.
And with that said, if you have such a large amount of blog posts, you can cherry pick it. Oh, I want this one, that one, and
maybe the ones she got the most comments on, the best reactions, or
could be. But also, it's the kind of thing where you look at it, and it's like, we talked about this on Goodreads a bit. That I would like to see more of her, like how it means. And granted, how do you write this? Oh, I stayed in bed for a week, because I was anxious. I couldn't see other people, But by the same token, it would.
Well,
yeah, she does mention it.
Okay.
But that being said, I mean, the title of the book was Furiously Happy. So for her, those what she was writing in that book was memories of times of really weird, adventurous stuff that happened in her life. So she can look back on it in those moments where she can't get out of bed. So.
True. Mm-hmm.
So that was, pretty much her point with what she put in there. I really appreciated the stories about the raccoon.
Yes.
I was really fascinated by that. Like, just the fact that there was 2 of them, and the whole story about, I mean, I don't know how one goes about getting a taxidermied raccoon, but like the fact that she had ordered one and then it was lent out to someone to ride a roller coaster and fell out of the road. I
Yeah. A bit
had a hard
damaged,
time
yeah.
wrapping my head around that, but it was still such an interesting story.
Would allow someone to take a taxidermy raccoon on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what is that? That's an animal. You can't take that on the machine. Oh, but it's not a live animal.
Yeah.
You've got a dead animal in your hands and you want to ride a roller coaster with it?
I don't know. I mean,
what?
Yeah,
those pictures.
Hey, at minimum
really
wage, just go for it.
You know that like those roller coaster rides, they always take your picture at like the peak when you're like.
But that was the thing about the raccoon. It's like, you know, they have it on the front cover, so you think, okay, that's just an illustration, but it's like, oh my god, it's real.
Yeah. Did she say anything about it being cross-eyed in like the actual raccoon being cross-eyed?
Because that's why she wanted the first one that got damaged so much, because his face
was
the epitome of furiously happy.
Right.
And so,
oh my god.
And so for her, like, even though he offered her another raccoon and she did take it, she still wanted the
Rory.
The original.
One, yeah.
Right? And they
to her
fixed
credit,
his
yeah.
fingers.
And that's just the raccoon rodeo, which is great. At 2 in the morning. That's one of my favorite scenes when the husband, what the hell are you doing? So you know, obviously it's a raccoon rodeo. With the raccoons riding the cats. That was amazing.
Were there pictures of that?
I mean, I tried looking up some. There was like some videos on her channel that had them in the background, and then she also has like a taxidermied mouse, which is on her first book. I don't really remember the title of her first book.
Yes. Let's pretend this never happened is the title of the book.
That's what it is.
But she has a very, I mean, not that I can remember them offhand right now, but she has a very good talent for naming animals.
For naming, yes.
I cannot remember it.
Yes,
and I cannot remember.
She had a cat. Her cat was really funny. Yeah, I'm not gonna remember it either.
Like Thompson, Hunter Thompson was one of them. Hunter S. Thompson was one of them. I can't remember who the other one was.
It was like Meow something. I felt like.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, what is it?
Okay, wait, you keep talking. I'm gonna look it up.
Oh my god. It was that was a great cat name. I do remember that.
Cat names.
It was like Meowless or something like that. But that's what I said.
Such awesome names for your cats.
Where here?
No, the blog is National Dress Your Cat Up Day.
Of course. Again, of course, having read the book, yeah, of course, that's just natural.
Oh my god. Oh, Ferris Mueller.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Ferris Mueller, yeah.
There is a cat inside a dog's or a wolf head. What is this?
That's like, I guess it's like a wolf.
Is that a taxidermied freaking fox?
Oh my god.
Is that a taxidermied fox? The cat is inside the fox's head, so the fox's mouth is
if it was considering what we read, yes.
Oh my gosh. Here,
I can't right now.
I'm putting it in the Facebook chat.
Yes.
This is ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Okay, we should have come to her site. We should have come to her site, not like this. Now's not a good time.
Oh my gosh. Ferris Mueller. I loved that. That
Ferris
was so...
Mueller.
And the mouse, I can't remember what the mouse's name was, but he's on the cover, like you said, of Let's Pretend This Never Happened. But Hamlet, but I cannot remember what it was.
So, one of the first discussion questions we have here, which I borrowed from Lit Lovers. Thank you, Lit Lovers. Litlovers.com. So it says, Jenny Lawson is open about her struggle with mental illness. Has this book altered your view of those who face mental illness issues or given you a greater insight of their plight?
Absolutely. And
hurts,
one heck of an insight it is.
Yeah.
If you took that insight and put it in a syringe and then injected it into your arm, that's exactly what she did.
Mm-hmm.
She was just like, hey, you know this shit I go through every day? Here!
Yeah. Here's what it's like to be me. Welcome to my world. Check out the 2.
What's interesting is that, you know, the reviews on Goodreads are very divided. There are a lot of people that were like, what is this crap? This is so stupid. Like, I don't get it. And the idea of not getting it or not understanding it is kind of, I guess, it just feels weird to me.
Well,
because it really did trigger my anxiety. I guess I'm curious what it would be like to read her book and have no emotion. You know, like not understand any of it.
Well, you'd actually have to listen, and some people or read it.
Mm-hmm.
The context that it's written in, like the way she. I honestly think that listening to her read the book to you is a heck of a lot better than actually reading it. Because if you read just the book alone, you wouldn't have the emotional the ties to what's going on in her head. Yeah. Like you won't actually it might actually be all out of context.
Yep.
Like giant run-on sentences.
There were also parts where she kind of, you know, talks about if you're listening to the audiobook, blah, 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 you know, so there must have been parts in there that were different from the actual text.
Yes, there are. Well, also in the actual ebook, there are pictures, and she'll describe the pictures in the audiobook. But
I did see that because I remember the first picture was like something happening at the drugstore. Oh, the dog bones at the drugstore. Somebody was.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get to see any pictures.
Yeah, I tried showing them to you, but they were really small.
You did try to show them?
Yeah, they are really small.
At least that first one, it was really, really small. So
no, all of them are like that. Yeah.
So that's kind of sad, but
but
yeah, it's cool to see it too, and not just have it explained.
It seems that she is no surprise that she's shaped by her environment, because she has this thing for dressing things up in other things, like a taxidermist would, in the sense that, you know, they wanted to go to Australia and she wanted to go hold a koala while being dressed as a koala.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let her do it.
Oh. So we have One Man Reads that just jumped in the chat. Just want to give a shout out. Thanks for
welcome
for popping in and saying hello. We are talking about Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. I don't know if you've ever checked it out. It's definitely an interesting book. It's kind of a lot of blog posts by the bloggist, and she struggles with depression and anxiety. But in Furiously Happy, she takes those things and spins it on its head and makes it funny so that she can get through those dark days. So, okay, so you said that, yes, it did change your perspective a bit.
Well, I mean, I can definitely understand like how people go throughout. I really wish my mind would work as fast as some of, you know, these people, but now I can see why that's a bad thing. Okay. But I mean, and I can imagine if you're always giving yourself anxiety like that, of course depression is going to be a thing. And you brought up Robin Williams, and I didn't actually make that tie, so thank you for that again, Tom. But the fact that it's true. I mean, he had a hard time, and he was a funny man because he can think about those things and put and just jump one thing after another and just spit things out at you constantly. It's like, dude, whoa. He's
like 10 steps ahead of the conversation.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing, you know, which she talks about in the book as well, is in the sense that, you know, with mental illness, as she calls it, you know, you can't just snap out of it. It's a lot, you know.
Right. It's, I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine how many therapists she's been through.
Mm-hmm.
And even like with her recounting some of the visits that we hear about, I can only imagine the previous ones.
Frustration.
Yeah, like it's just having to deal with somebody who's nonstop jumping from one thing to another it's got to be
like there was
tiresome.
one part specifically where she was talking about a visit with her therapist, and she was like, "We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die someday," and just kind of the exchange went on.
She sat in front of her and says, "Oh, I'm gonna die."
Right, and she was right now.
Yeah, the therapist is like, "Wait, what happened? What's wrong?
Wait, what time is it now?" Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, no, we're all gonna die eventually. It's just I'm gonna die someday."
But I can totally relate to like that.
You weren't aware,
things that I could relate to, because like I can't think about getting old for too long because I get instant anxiety. Like if I start thinking about wrinkles and aging and like I'll just go down this rabbit hole of like, oh my God, I'm getting old, and
this kind of explains Love in the Time cholera, but I'll leave it at that.
Huh.
I mean, I know we're all getting old day by day, and I get it, and I'm eventually going to be like a really old person, but I can't fast forward.
Yeah, don't think about that yet.
Yeah,
we're not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you feel, Tom? And do you feel like it has given you some greater insight?
Well, it was an insight into a very creative mind and the pluses and minuses of it being that way. With power, not so much with power with great power comes great responsibility, but power demands sacrifice. This, but yet,
hang on, Tom.
To deal with. What?
I don't know if that was us or you.
We just had a really big lag spike, and everything you just said we didn't hear.
It was totally brilliant, I can assure you. No, in the sense of, for those of you who are probably maybe getting this second time, in the sense that power demands sacrifice, in the sense of you, oh my God, you have this super creative mind, and you can go boom, 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 boom. But the drawback is you have this crippling depression and anxiety, and look at Chris Cornell, incredibly creative person, but something's going on there that said, no, I'm out of here.
And that's I deal with anxiety way more than I deal with depression. I haven't felt depression in a really long time, but it is a liar. I saw kind of my brother battling it, and he would say things to me about our family not caring about him and stuff like that, and I'd have to be like, dude, I know, I can see where you're making those connections, but it's not true. Don't let that don't be convinced of that. People love you, people care about you. You need to maintain those relationships too. And so it's sad to see how dark it gets for someone. So I'm glad that she.
Next question,
Oh no.
I'm glad to see that she acknowledged that she needed light, and she was willing to write things down to maintain that light in those dark moments.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it also raises the issues like, as a person who does not suffer from this, how do you support somebody who has this without being, just snap out of it?
Right.
And actually give, some genuine sort of help to the person in need. And sometimes you just have to be there, but I would assume sometimes it's more than that.
I would think so. I mean, sometimes I think you just have to meet them where they're at and just sit there with them, which is heavy. That's heavy for someone who, may not be feeling all those things, to kind of sit and just be there with you, I think.
And that's why silence is hard sometimes.
So, this is an interesting question. So it says, cancer patients, Lawson tells us, are not blamed for their failure to respond to treatment, but the same cannot always be said for those who suffer from mental illness. Why is that?
Right. I guess it's because mental illness is not accepted as a physical illness like cancer is. Like there's something else. You just, like you said, just step out of it. You'll be fine.
I think people want to try and blame that it's something that can be helped mentally versus, I don't know. It's not the case. It's not the case. Some people just, their mind can't handle certain things, or their mind just handles way too much.
Or it's a chemical imbalance, and I get that. I mean, I don't know if you've ever, Tom, have you ever read What the Bleep or seen What the Bleep?
No.
What the bleep do we know?
Not.
Yeah, what the bleep do we know? I don't know if it's still available on Netflix. If you're ever bored one day, you should check it out. It's pretty interesting because they have a whole section in there about chemicals in the brain and how, if we focus on certain thoughts over and over and over and over and over again, that eventually we develop these blocks where we can't even have happy thoughts. Like, it just becomes more difficult. So what I was going to say was that I feel like the lines are a little bit blurrier because while it may not always be true, sometimes we can control our thoughts, or sometimes we can put ourselves in a state of anxiety or start ruminating about something. So there's like a little bit of control in there, I think, and that's where...
But finding where that is the question, isn't it? Yeah.
It's not always there.
No, it's not. It's not always there. Sometimes it's too far. But
I think there's also the different anxiety is the main thing to look at here, though. Whether it's the if you want to call it a mental illness or something else, but I could put it's the same thing as getting in an MRI tube when you have claustrophobic tendencies. That whether or not you do have control over whether or not you flip out, but you have to find where that control is, and not everybody can handle that. And anxiety is the root of a lot of it. And it's sad. I triggered her by bringing that up. As you can tell.
Wait a minute.
Well, I mean, because for me, I get in the MRI tube and I fall asleep. I don't think about nothing. Nothing bothers me about the whole thing. She flips her lid.
It was really funny because they had asked me, "Are you claustrophobic?" And I was like, "I don't think so." And it wasn't the idea of being in a tight space. It was the idea of being stuck somewhere for a certain amount of time and not being able to move.
Yeah.
So it was the not being able to move thing. Even when I had radiation, they had to lock my hand down, and that was just too much for me. They were like, "Well, what's so scary?" And I'm like, "I'm stuck here. That's what's so scary."
But that's a good illustration of what she's talking about. It's like, you have this reaction, and it's like, well, why is it? I don't understand.
I don't understand. So why is it so hard? Why can't you just freaking sit there?
Yeah.
Instead of being like, why can't you just turn it off? Why can't you just stop thinking for a minute? No, that's just not how it works.
And it's definitely the racing thoughts, because after I asked for medicine to help me get through it, the first time I took the entire pill and I felt like I couldn't have a coherent thought the whole day.
Oh yeah, when she came back out, she was just like.
So I learned, that taking half of it was enough to slow down my thoughts, so I didn't get my heart racing and stuff like that. But it's intense. So that's not fun.
Yeah, and everybody's minds work.
You can get an MRI tube and not fall asleep.
What?
That you can fall asleep in there.
Okay.
Good for you.
That's not how those words came out a minute ago.
Well done, Terry. Yeah. But, one of my favorite posts, chapters, whatever in the book, was when she was in New York and she was going to speak at that meeting, and she was in her hotel room, and I forget how she did it, but she had cut her foot somehow, and she walked out into the snow.
Oh, and left little blood. Yeah.
And how she accepted, this is me. It's like, yes, I have this thing, which is cut on my foot, but look at it allowed me to do this. It's why I'm out in New York in the snow at night, and it's awesome. So it's like, that was, well done. That was a really good scene.
Yeah, she didn't give two poops about the fact that she was bleeding into the snow.
Yeah.
She actually made fun of it.
Yeah. And just like, oh my God, look at this. But it's like, look at what this is enabling me to do, rather than keeping me constrained. And then that was such an empowering thing, I thought.
Indeed.
So that's one of my favorite chapters.
So the next one, and I feel like we touched upon this a little bit, but do you personally know friends or family members who suffer from any illnesses that Jenny Lawson discusses? If so, how do they cope? And how do people close to them, perhaps yourself included, deal with their illnesses? That's not funny. That's not funny.
No, it's one step at a time.
Yeah. I think it has to be somewhat of what Victor does in the sense that yes, he acknowledges it, but he doesn't like
He doesn't feed it.
Yeah, he doesn't like
That's
cater
what I
to
do.
it.
Yeah.
He does not cater to it.
Just
Yes.
humor it. How about that? Is that a good word for it?
Humor, cater. Yeah, whatever.
I see, but yeah, and that's kind of, I guess, the reason why I'm kind of her rock, because I don't. I'm calming, right?
You
I'm
are
calming. Is that enough? Is that enough? Not quite. No.
I don't know. Like, I feel like sometimes I just have to cry it out, because for me, everything feels like it's about a lack of control, and then that final step to relinquishing control is just crying it out,
Letting go.
Yeah, pretty much letting go. But the ride up to that point sucks. Trying to think if there's anybody that I interact with regularly who I feel, I mean, at this point anyway.
What do you mean? What are you looking for? Somebody who you can recognize as having these?
Yeah. Because I can't. I can't think of anybody like close.
If you know somebody creative, chances are they will fit the bill. If you think about it.
Yeah, but they sadly, I mean, you know what happens with creatives? A lot of times they end up self-medicating on different things.
Right, but again, you have that balance of darkness and light, and which lives. It's the one you feed.
Right.
I always like that story of the two wolves.
Yes. Thank you. Very good.
Yeah. See, I'm a little bit well read.
I read literature.
So yeah, I guess that's what I would say. I would say that the people that I do know cope by self-medicating, whether that's smoking or drinking or because they feel like somehow that quiets their mind.
I think it's the best way to put it, is quieting the anxiety, and that's
right.
It's true.
Well, the other thing too is that I think she suffers. It's not that she suffers something outlandish. It's more along the lines of she suffers what we suffer, but maybe to a more intense degree. Yeah. Like she talks about imposter syndrome, like, oh, they're gonna find me out that I'm a know nothing and I'm a zero, and say, well, who hasn't felt that?
Right.
But maybe not to that degree. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm sure, like, when you reach kind of like her degree of fame, I mean, she seems to have a pretty impressive list of friends, including Felicia Day and Will Wheaton, and there were quite
David
a few
Sedaris, of all people. Yeah, go ahead.
So, I would think at that point, of course, the imposter syndrome would feel a lot more significant.
I think with what she goes through, no matter what emotion she's feeling, it's heightened to an extreme degree.
Right.
And that's scary to a lot of. I mean, I cannot imagine being like scared to the point of being afraid of finding bathroom corpses. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I had walked into a bathroom and there'd be a dead person in there either. But I don't think that's I don't think that happens often enough for it to be a justified fear. But
right. But when your mind's racing for something to latch onto, this is what it latches onto, and
right. Well, I mean, it's the same thing with going into a dark, rundown house or a building or something, and you're all like, "There's nothing out there," but I'm freaking scared. It's just logic doesn't have a place when your emotions take over, like when the anxiety takes over, and that's scary to me. And I'm sorry, because I'm pretty sure that's what.
Well, I mean, like, I know that when the house is empty, if I'm home alone and there's like dark rooms, I leave the lights on everywhere, because I don't know. It only takes one thought to like
set it up. Yeah. There you go.
Because you're looking outside, you see a tree shadow, wave in the wind. You're like, oh crap!
So it could have just been a joke in her mind, like, ha ha ha! Imagine if there was a dead person in here, and then she was like, well,
wait a minute.
What would I do? How would I react? What would happen?
And then it mind latches onto it. It's like, yeah. Like, oh wait, I didn't think this all the way through. Yeah. But that's the thing. If you haven't experienced something, you can't really understand what the person's going through. Because she obviously experiences something like agoraphobia. And if you don't have that, how can you, attempt to say, oh, yeah, I know what you're going through, Just go out of the house. It's like, well, it's not that simple.
I actually just had a conversation with a counselor who mentioned that. And she had said, like, people with agoraphobia, of course, they don't want to be out in crowds. They don't want to be out in public. And that, unfortunately, makes what they feel even worse. Like, the more they isolate themselves from interactions, the more scary those interactions become for them.
Well, you don't have any proof. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Right.
So, question number 4. Talk about the use of humor in Furiously Happy. How does it affect your reading of this book? And why might Lawson treat such a serious, often tragic subject with laughter?
It's hard not to treat it any other way without it being too grim.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If you focus on the very serious aspect of it, it gets too serious and can actually ultimately cause that anxiety in you anyway. So treating it with laughter, actually seeing it, working laughter into it, kind of has it gives you that balance so that you don't go too far down the deep end. That's how I feel.
For me, I feel like it's 100% a defense mechanism. I mean, I had a pretty crappy childhood, and I can say 100% the only reason I feel like I got through it was because I was able to laugh at some of the things that I went through. And of course, maybe they weren't hysterical at the time, but being able to look back on it and see how ridiculous it was, or, just how inappropriate or just crazy, and being able to laugh at that was really the only thing I think that kept me and my brother moving forward. And laughter is like the best medicine, I feel like.
Well, they say that tragedy plus time equals comedy. So
yeah, and that's why we have the too soon moniker.
Yeah, too soon. Yep.
Because it's not funny if it's right away.
Yeah. See, there you go. And that's also why we have so many Jewish comedians, I think, because there's so much sadness there that they have. What can you do but laugh? And it's not making fun of. Robin.
That's why he wanted to make people laugh.
Yep.
There was too much. I think I remember actually him saying there's too much sadness and too much pain in this world to not want to create laughter.
Right. But yeah, you just have to look at him and see, oh my God, his mind is racing like a mile a minute. And I don't know if that's drugs or if that's just natural or both, but it's the kind of thing like, you just watch him, it's like, oh my God, he's going like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's just ridiculous how much, he's like 10 steps ahead of the conversation. And it's like,
So, and the last question is, what is the significance of the title Furiously Happy?
It's a defense against the dark arts.
I like it. I'm
kind of glad that most of this discussion was spent laughing. I feel like that's pretty appropriate. I was having a rough weekend too, so I was kind of like drained at the start of this.
I was too. I was actually feeling pretty bad. I didn't want to do it. I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we did it.
Okay, yes.
Thanks, Tom. You helped with that too. I can always do.
So
I think it's pretty significant. A pretty significant title, because it's not just laughing. It's not just being happy. It's like furiously happy.
You're planting your flag in the ground and say, "This is where I make my stand." No. None shall pass to quote another book movie. Freaking yeah. There you go.
So it's a great title. I absolutely love the book cover. Like I love it.
Yeah.
And
I think I'm actually going to have to listen to it again just to get the parts that I kind of like. I feel like I missed due to oversaturation.
Yeah, that, and if you can, read as well as listen to it, because I find retention is better that way.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
Let's start doing that.
If you can afford it,
yeah.
I don't know if the Mastai book
next month's book
qualifies. So.
What?
Wait for it.
So for the month of June, we will be reading All Our Wrong Todays by Elan. Is that how you say it, John?
Elan Mastai.
Elan Mastai.
Elan Elan Mastai. Elan Mastai. Mastai?
This is why we need audiobooks, just so you know.
Yeah. Notices at the beginning. And we read that book a couple of months ago, and
I'll read it again.
Yeah, I fell in love with it. It's been a while since I've connected with a book to that degree, I think. And it's very interesting because it's a fictional memoir.
Oh,
another memoir.
Yeah, but it's a fictional one.
Oh, you don't know nothing about it yet, Tom? Oh my God. You're going to love this book so much. You're going to love it.
So it takes place in an alternate 2016, like a very.
Yes, I think it reminded me of the book description on Goodreads. But yes.
And so there is a little bit of time travel and romance in there from like a memoirish perspective of this main character named. Wait, isn't his name Tom? Yep, his name is Tom.
Good name.
Tom Barron.
Tom Barron.
There you go.
Getting close. Tom Barron.
And so that's one that you definitely will want to audiobook because it's read by the author, and I feel like
So I saw that.
Adds a lot to it.
Oh no, listen to it if you're able to.
I will acquire both as per usual. I'm listening to American Gods right now.
Oh, nice.
We started
that too.
Did you see the series yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, yeah.
You first, man.
See the series. I read the book way back, but the series is really, really good.
Wait, that's Gaiman, right?
Yes, Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
Yes. So before we completely sign off on Furiously Happy, we didn't say what rating we gave it.
I'll give it a 4. I'll give it a 4.
I know Tom gave it a 4. I saw it.
Oh, good. Thank you.
I don't remember what I gave it.
Thank you for stalking me. But yeah, no, go ahead.
I'm looking. So let's see.
4.
I gave it a 3. Yeah, I gave it a 3.
Oh, you're the Russian judge.
Because I liked it.
Good.
I liked it.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
I think it was the part where I felt like she was trying too hard, or where it just gave me too much anxiety that.
But isn't that a good thing though? Because it's showing it's touching you.
It's not supposed to trigger you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, see, and that's the debate that we need to have.
Let me backpedal on that. I should not have said that, because a book that triggers you means you have some sort of issue that you need resolved with it. Yes. I just all those people that are like, oh, it caused so much pain for me. I can't read it. I can't believe you read that crap. And nobody reads 1 star. It doesn't make it a bad book because you have emotional issues with it. So,
very much agree.
I'm sorry,
yes.
I just said that.
No, I really, honestly, every time I go to read a book, I always have to remind myself what the stars mean in Goodreads, because that's the only way I could put it into perspective. So
that's why I always bounce over them. Oh, that's what that means. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You should do a video just on that.
On the rating?
Teaching people how to rate correctly in Goodreads. Yeah, I would feel like a lot of books probably get a bunch of bad ratings because people aren't rating it correctly.
We have to have a discussion offline about this. Go ahead.
Really quick, I guess we can go through what we're reading right now. I did post some of that in the Goodreads thread that you had revived.
Yes, that I've researched, which I have not posted to yet. I finished volume 3 of In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust. Yay! I started volume 4. I hope to finish that by the end of the year.
You said there's 13 of them?
No, there's 6 of them. They're
Okay.
they're like Outlander-sized books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they are not nearly as straightforward written. I have to say that. But it's that and American Gods right now. And I will be reading The Philosopher's Dog by Ray. Right, what the hell's his name? Now I'm thinking Neil Gaiman, and I know that's not it. But it's about philosophy and our relationship to animals.
Interesting.
Nice.
I'm curious.
So I will let you go first since you're reading, like we're reading the same things, but I'm reading more things.
You are reading more things. So what are we at right now? The Subtle Art of Not Giving a should we be okay cursing? Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Apparently that's a thing, and it's actually very good.
It's pretty short too. It's only like 5 hours.
We started reading American Gods.
This is the audiobook too.
What are we in? Like, did we finish Cress?
No, we started.
We need to finish Cress.
Yeah.
Okay. What is it? The Lunar Chronicles?
Yeah. It's the third book in the Lunar Chronicles.
And Tom's like, yeah.
What?
YA. What else?
I have done my YA time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you have.
Without complaint, I might add.
Because you found some good ones, right?
I did. Yes.
Glad we could be of service. All right. I don't know. There's a kind of a whole stack of books that we're in the middle of reading we haven't finished yet. I'll let you finish the list because your mind is good at that.
Well, I'm also reading Geekarella by Ashley Poston.
No idea what that one is.
And I started Eddie Izzard's memoir, which is not available yet. I got an arc for that. So I'm reading that.
All right.
And that's called Believe Me, A Memoir of Love, Death, and Jazz Chickens by Eddie Izzard.
You asked me if I was interested in that book, and I said yes.
So I got it.
But you started listening to it.
No, because it's not an audiobook.
You just said you just started. Okay, all right.
I said I started reading it.
Okay, all right. All right.
Offline. Yeah,
it's available if you want to read it.
All right.
But then I'm reading White Fur by Jardine Lebert and The Girl in Between by Sarah Carroll. And I believe that last one is not available yet either, I believe.
So you finished Caraval?
I did finish Caraval. So that was...
I feel like it was another one, but...
There might be another one.
Another one that we both started and the library took it back.
There may have been. It's been difficult for us to get through books. I've been having to request them several times from the library. But yeah, it's a few things on my TBR right now.
Yep.
Are you okay?
I don't know. There's a massive stack of books over here in the corner right here.
We don't need to
I was just curious of what was there. That's fine. No. That's
these are not the books you're looking for.
That's for multiple book hauls. Never mind.
No, this was all from Indie Book Fest.
Oh my god.
But anyway.
Okay. That's for another day.
So This was our Furiously Happy discussion. And like I said, the next book we'll be reading is All Our Wrong Todays by Elan Nastai.
Read it with us.
Hopefully you guys will join us and catch it soon. Right now, we are joined by Tom, who is a book club VIP. And book club VIPs do join us on camera for their discussions. If you're interested in becoming a book club VIP, you can do that at patreon.com/Libri Labra.
Very good.
And you get a custom bookmark. You get a few perks. You get to actually select 3 books in a rotation as a book club VIP member, and the rest of our Goodreads group gets to vote on one of those 3 books that you've selected. Mm-hmm. So there are some perks. If not, of course, you're always welcome to join us in the chat. If you jumped in the chat tonight and said hello. I greatly appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you guys again.
Absolutely.
So, thanks for joining us tonight, and have a good night.
Right.
Bye, everybody.